All right, well, here we are in London town, and I'm joined by Paul of the Come On Man podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good meeting up with you here at the 10 Bells.
The 10 Bellends.
Yeah, this is a Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper killed a woman here. Before Fresh and Fit, before Kevin Samuels, Jack the Ripper was holding women accountable.
Anyway, so Jack the Ripper, we're in East London. Jack the Ripper used to hang out in this pub over here and have a drink probably before going and dismembering his victims. So there you go. But it's a real old style Victorian watering hole, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just been here for a whole entire week. I've been to a lot of really old places. I went to an inn in Nottingham that was established in 1100 or 1150 or something. If you ever come to England, it's mind-boggling how old some of these places are, and the people here don't give a shit.
We really don't.
It's just old hat for them. Oh yeah, it's old, whatever. And it's the oldest place in my town is probably 100 years old.
I know, man, it's crazy. And even around here, I mean, this was like the epicenter of old Victorian London, the slums. This side of town was where more of the poorer people lived. This is all like Dickensian kind of vibe around here. Obviously now very gentrified, quite hipster around here, quite cool, and it's all good. But you've been here a few days now, haven't you, in the UK?
Yeah, I've been here for about a week. Yeah.
Would you recommend it to the viewers?
To come to London or to England in general?
England, well, both. England in general.
England, yes. London, as long as you don't drive in London, then London's great.
Yeah, good stuff, man, good stuff. So look, it's our first time that we've met, so this is like a London mini Rule Zero video that we're doing here. So I guess we better talk about some manosphere stuff, really. What do you think currently? I mean, dating for guys, I mean, you help out guys with dating, don't you? Do you think that it really is as screwed up out there as people say, or do you think actually it's overrated a little bit and guys can still get some good results, like the average dude in the street?
I think the biggest problem that guys deal with is that they're focused on the wrong things. A lot of guys really start focusing on stats online, like dating app stats. They start watching, various shows online that really paints women in the wrong light, and they just talk themselves out of it.
Yeah.
But if they just go out and talk to women, I think they'll find that things work out pretty good.
I think that's right. I mean, I think one of the and look, I mean, a lot of the big panel shows, they're great. I know a lot of the people involved. They're great guys and women. They're doing a great job. But I think if you had to draw a downside, it's that it does give this impression that women are only after the 6'7", dude with the 12 pack, and he's earning $100,000 a month, and it's just not the case. If you actually just go out there, like you said, and actually just engage with women, you'll find that you will be having a better dating life than probably 99% of other guys if you just actually go out there and do it.
Yeah. A lot of guys really, I get this a lot, and you probably get it a lot too. Oh, if you have money, then women will be interested. It's like, if you go out and date the way I tell people to date, women will have no idea that you even make any money, right?
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't know by the way I dress, but I'm a six-figure guy. But I don't put that on the table. When I go out, when I would go out and date, it was drinks only. It would keep it low investment, let them get invested in me, and then they can discover how much I make later.
Yeah.
And discovery trumps disclosure at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this whole thing about money, it's kind of puzzling in a way, because I never get to any conversation about how much money I've got in the early stages at all. I mean, maybe if I take it to a nice place, you might think, oh, okay, this guy's doing all right. But I'm not showering them with oh my God, come to the Ritz. I mean, generally speaking, we go for a couple of drinks, and it's very low key, like you said. And the other side of the coin is that when dudes are rich, there's this idea that, they're just going to get loads of, they're going to get women throwing themselves at you. And that's not the case either, because we coach a lot of guys who make a lot of money, multimillionaires sometimes, seriously rich dudes, and they're still having problems with their dating life. So if money was the thing that cured everything, these guys would be getting labeled like rock stars, and they're not.
Yeah, one of my clients is he's an entrepreneur. He's got his own business. I think I'm trying to think what he does. It's like physical therapy or something like that. He makes pretty good money, but he's just not that socially calibrated. Yeah, great. Yeah, socially calibrated. So he's working on that. And so one of the things I do is I have a men's group where we just get together and just just chat.
Yeah.
So a lot of things, if guys just got out and got more social in general, not just with women, they just go out, you go to a pub and learn how to talk to strangers and stuff like that, they would understand the dynamics of just being in a social environment. And that by itself makes you more attractive. If you know how to talk, like on your feet, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you were actually saying about somebody that you'd interviewed recently, and he was getting them to do freestyle rapping.
Yeah. There's a couple of guys I know that do that. And so this guy, his name is Dale Valor. Shout out to Dale. There's another guy, his name is, I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, it's a great practice to learn how to freestyle rap, because if you can think of rhymes quickly on your feet, like you could think of what to talk about in the moment, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the big challenge, I think, for guys, because they think, okay, so I'm going to go in, there's the attractive woman, got to go and have a conversation with her. And even if they can summon up the courage to go up and say, hey, listen, I saw you, you look nice, I wanted to come say hello. Then the fear is, oh shit, what do I say next? And actually, you can get over that. You can absolutely get over that. Myself, I teach a whole structure to get over that issue. You know, what do you say next? How do you not run out of things to say? But the point is, it's definitely doable, right? I mean, and the more social practice you get, whether that's chatting to other guys or just random people that you meet around town or whatever, the better it's going to be when you meet that attractive woman that you want to actually engage with.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of guys too overthink it, because if they just walk up to a normal person on the street and they wanted to start a conversation, they would just start a conversation. But if it's a really attractive woman, they're like, oh, I need a pickup line. I need to know, I need something clever to say. It's like, sometimes if you just say something, that'll get a conversation started.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to overthink it.
Well, the other thing as well, I don't know what you feel about this, but it's kind of like, look, I mean, not every woman's going to be into you, obvious. I mean, even us. Hard as that is to believe, not every woman's going to be into you, right? So there's an element, it's crazy, but what can you do? But there's an element of you're testing for interest, right? You go up to her in Perkins, shout out to Cappy, or wherever, and you're like, oh, hey,
Waffle House.
You know, and you're like, oh, hey, and you say something, and if she doesn't react particularly well to that, then it's like, okay, fine, well, anyway, have a great day, and then you move on, you know? So it's partly about testing for interest as well, because, look, the reality is, even if you had the cleverest line in the world and you went up to a woman who's just not open to it, you know, maybe she's married or she's, you know, she just doesn't like you, she's not into you, it's not going to change it, right? You know, the game is played, I think, with women who are at least somewhat interested initially in you, and then you've got to not fuck it up with them, basically.
Yeah, you know, I talked to Alan Roger Curry about this, because I'm a big proponent of that. You go out, you test for interest, you walk through open doors, you sort of go for women that are interested in you. Because that just makes things almost effortless, right? Yeah. And Alan Roger Curry, he was like, there's 4 different types of women. You know, he's like, there's reciprocators, there's rejectors, there's wholesome pretenders, and there's manipulative time wasters. And he said he said he used to love to seduce the wholesome pretender types, just mainly for his own ego. You know, like it was like a big ego trip for him to go out and just seduce these women. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. I'd much rather go out, test for interest. A girl that shows high interest in me, okay, great. Like let's continue this conversation. Let's go get some drinks. Let's go do something fun.
No, I agree. Did you ever read that book? The guy that wrote No More Mr. Nice Guy, Robert Glover. So his other book, Dating Essentials for Men. Have you read that? Oh,
I've read that a dozen times.
Yeah, man. So that's exactly what he's talking about, isn't it? Yep. It's like, go out, be super social, test for interest. If it's low interest, okay, fine. Yep. Have a nice day. See you later. If it's high interest, right. Okay, let's move things forward. Let's go for a drink, whatever. And if you just apply that lens to it, it's so much simpler than thinking, because I think also guys get in their head and they're like, oh, I need to be this like master pickup artist, and I'm going to do these magical lines, and I'm going to, you know, she's going to be like stone, and then I'm going to like suddenly pull her in, and it just doesn't really work like that in reality, you know?
No, and that's what I loved about that book, is it's so down to earth, anybody can do it. Another thing that I really learned from that book too is letting go of attachment to outcome.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Because a lot of guys go into every interaction with a woman like, oh, she's going to be my wife, or she's going to be my girlfriend, or whatever. It's like, no, dude, she if she likes you, cool. If she doesn't like you, cool. You know?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I think it's a mistake, actually, that guys... I mean, look, your medium or long-term goal might be, yeah, I want to find a girlfriend, I want to find a wife, I want to settle down. But I don't think you should go into the dating arena with that in mind. I think you've got to go in there, you know, you're acting as the fun, flirty guy, you're meeting different women, you're seeing who you resonate with, and then you're not really thinking too far beyond that, because it's going to put too much pressure. Like, women get turned off anyway, don't they? If you're too needy, you're like, well, I'm looking for a long-term relationship. What are your plans in the next 5 years? I mean, a lot of women aren't going to fly with that.
Right.
And even if they do, I mean, you don't know this person yet. It's going to take time. So for me personally, it's always like, I put all that out of my head. I'm like, how do I get on with her? How does she respond to me? How does she act? How do we vibe? And then you take it from there. You know?
Yeah, and one thing too that Dr. Glover talks about in that book too is writing down your list of your wants and don't wants in a relationship. The best thing about that is if you actually do sit down and do this practice, you write down what you actually want, your absolute must-haves, then you can actually still date with that mentality, right? If your goal is to have a girlfriend eventually, you just go out and date, and it's very casual. It's like, okay, I'm just going to keep spinning plates until one of these girls checks all these boxes.
Yeah.
Until then, no big deal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So there is hope, guys. I wanted to ask you one other thing, which is about, we've got all the trads on Twitter at the moment and various other platforms, and they're like, no, get married at 22, settle down, have 17 kids. What's your take on all of that stuff? Because I find it a little bit, my personal view, I think if that's genuine what you want to do, fine. I don't think you should do it too young, because I think you're still learning. But if that's what you want to do, fine. But just pushing people into this direction as if that's the answer, it seems to me just the wrong way to go about things.
It's terrible that people think that that's the ultimate step. Like, oh no, this is the end game. This is the end game for everybody, and it's not. And the thing is I've been married. I was married for 14 years, and I'll never do it again. And it's not necessarily the fact that I don't like the idea of like monogamy or anything like that, because I'm in a monogamous relationship. But the idea of getting the government involved in your relationship is just a bad idea. You know, if you get the government involved in your relationship, you don't get to decide how you break up. The government decides how you break up. And a lot of the times it's just, there's no benefit for men to do it. You know what I mean? So I think it's a terrible idea. Anything that you want in a marriage, including children, including having a will and legacy and all that stuff, you can have that without getting the government involved in your relationship.
No, 100%, man. I totally agree. Well, listen, it's been great, obviously, meeting you, hanging out with you. I know you guys have got quite an early flight, so don't want to take too much of your time.
Yeah,
but
we can't be partying all night. So.
Nah, man, it's unfortunately, But anyway, man, thanks ever so much. It's been fucking awesome, and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Troy. I appreciate it.
See you later.